Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
The Protostar is primary target for all of Starfleet, but they finally send out their hail of doom, and all of the starships start firing on each other. Meanwhile, we find out whose kung fu is superior, Drednok or Murf. And Dal sneaks in the surprise attack kiss.
So that upgrade finally hit, and we can fully understand what the Tribbles are saying.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
And
yes.
We gotta program the galley because apparently they don't like sausage fingers. I don't know what the hell that is, but Heather.
Aye, Captain.
I want you to do some research on that and see what we can come up with. Hopefully by the news, because I don't understand what they're talking about. But apparently they are very vocal. I just thought they screamed and cooed, but what the upgrade that Patrick did, cooed.
What is cooed?
Apparently with the cooed.
They purr. They coo, they purr, they vibrate.
They're talking.
Apparently from that upgrade you did over the week there, number one, we can now understand what the hell the Tribbles are saying.
I'm so glad.
And so when they get neutered, when we go to neuter them, we thought they were just like normal screaming, but they're like, get the fuck away from that. Leave it alone. So the Tribbles, they don't like being neutered apparently. Okay, first off, I see the light is on. I'm actually aware this time, and I just don't care anymore that it's going out ahead of time. But I try to stop it, but it doesn't work. But if you're below the age of 18 or the age of consent on whatever planet you're listening to throughout the quadrant, this is not the podcast for you. So stop listening, turn it off. I understand you stumbled across it by accident, so go away. Also, a shout out, if you're listening, I met a gentleman in Starbucks this week who saw my Starfleet uniform jacket and got into a very lively discussion about Star Trek, Picard, and everything else. And when he found out about the podcast, he was quite gleeful and took the information and said he was going to listen from the very first show all the way up to the beginning because he loves Star Trek. And I warned him not to do that.
Yeah, please don't do that.
We won't hear from this guy until like a year and a half.
Yeah, I told him we have over 150 episodes and he should start with the most recent. So if you're listening, welcome aboard. And please leave a comment on either our YouTube channel or send us an email.
Was his name Andrew?
Possibly. Why? What did he say?
Because we have a new Patreon member named Andrew Carter.
Oh, cool.
That might be him. So congratulations.
So cool. Yay, hi.
Okay. So this way you never know who you come across with when you're on a away mission.
Well, I had the people that I was working for this week, the office manager, he listened to our show.
Uh-oh.
I hope he listened to the newest one and not the first one.
No, he listened to the newer, not the one we just dropped, but the one before that.
Oh, cool.
And how did and he's still talking to you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's a good sign.
I told him, I said, it's an NC-17 rating. So, actually it's an NCC-1701 rating.
Nice. Very nice.
That was cute. That was cute. Look, don't even just teleport there and just stare at me. I know. I'm getting ready to do that now. So, go. Wait, what? What do you mean, Merry Christmas? Section 31 doesn't do... You did what? Well, I'm going to find out. Oh, thank you. Chief?
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Next time we go to Impulse, tell me whether or not if we leave sparkle trails behind us.
And rainbows.
Did somebody attach sparkles?
They claimed they did sparkle trails in order to celebrate the holiday.
That's nice.
I kind of helped him with that, and I added rainbows to it. So it's sparkles and rainbows. I can
yeah, but it's kind of hard to look intimidating in a Defiant class ship when we're farting out sparkles and rainbows.
We usually get rainbows when we go into
We do
warp.
second contact, which is all peaceful missions. So I figured sparkles and rainbows would be a great way to say hi to people. It's a good first introduction.
All right, just stay away from the Klingons. I don't need them ragging us again.
They see the sparkles more than the rainbows.
They don't like our ship anyway.
We have way too many Tribbles. Yeah, way too many Tribbles on our ship.
That's true. We haven't had one for a long time since word got out. Okay. This show is being brought to you by Section 31, as well as our wonderful Patreon people. So thank you so much for being a part of our show and also helping us spade and neuter the Tribbles. And though we just find out that they don't like it, but tough. It's the only way we can keep their population down. So there's that. All right. First off, we have a full crew complement. I have my very intelligent and research-driven science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. And Captain, I think I need to add a mute button to our communicators because now that I'm listening to the Tribbles and I know what they're saying, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they're very chatty.
Oh, I'm very opinionated.
Extremely.
I keep hearing, Heather, put your clothes on.
I thought they were saying Patrick.
Oh, my God. All right. Speaking of Patrick, he's my number one. And also to give us the privilege of being the very first ship in Starfleet to be able to understand what these little furballs are saying. What? You don't like being called a furball? Well, fuck you. That's your nickname.
Hey, don't give many ideas. They may just do so.
What are you talking about?
If they can call humans worm hands, we can call them furballs.
That's what they call us?
Yeah, they call us worm hands.
I thought they were talking about hors d'oeuvres.
I just thought they were like really frisky with, number one.
And what are you talking about that I have junior tribbles underneath my waist? They're not called junior tribbles. Okay, number one.
Number one, I'm the computer guy and the foreign species liaison. Hello.
Dang, tribbles. What do you mean you don't like sausage fingers either? We don't have fingers like sausage. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, compare them to what? Oh, my God, we're going to have to turn that translator off. And speaking of wonderful people, we have on here the winner of the O'Brien Award, the person who will leave a snail trail behind them when they walk because they are just that manly, is our chief engineer.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm engineer of the show and the ship. And yes, I did change the environmental controls for Deck 3. It is an official winter wonderland on Deck 3. And the Tribbles, all I've been hearing them say is, wee, because they love playing in the snow on Deck 3.
I need to go to Deck 3. That sounds like way more fun.
It's a lot more fun. They're not complaining down there. They're just going, wee! And they make little balls, but they're Tribble angels, but they're just balls of imprints of balls, on the snow.
So the Tribbles aren't like rolling in the snow making snowballs?
Yeah, they're just making
Tribble
snowballs.
snowballs.
Yeah.
That explains why when Sarah Ferguson was down there and made a snowball, and the first time the Tribbles saw it, it called it Frozen Brother. Until they figured out what it is. So I guess that's why they're doing it now.
The irony, of course, is we're not doing this in the holodeck. We're actually doing it on Deck 3. So there will be some mess to clean up later, and I apologize about that.
Yeah. Also, Sarah Ferguson hit the wet part of the deck and face planted, which the Tribbles found great amusement. And they were quite snarky because they said, "What's the matter? Your sausage hands couldn't save you from falling?"
They were so rude.
I know. We got a bunch of juveniles on board now with the Tribbles, the way they talk.
I seriously need to put this on mute somehow.
Yeah, I want
Just
to.
the Tribbles, though.
And when they're not talking, all they keep saying is that I'm horny, I'm hungry, I'm horny, I'm hungry. So...
Yeah, you kind of figured that out.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Well, at least now we can try to find out why they hate Klingons. Do some research on that. I'll get to you in a second.
Hi, Captain.
Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any corrections from last week?
Nope. Subspace is clear.
Wait, I have a correction, but I can't remember what it is.
Thanks for helping.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And I told them, I told someone, I don't remember who I was talking to. I'll mention that on the next show. I'm mentioning it on the show. I just don't remember what we were talking about.
Was it when we were talking about all the times that somebody's changed minds on Star Trek when they swapped back and forth? And I mentioned that the doctor
I was
Voyager,
talking to you.
Yeah.
I was talking to you. I'm so glad.
We were chatting online. It wasn't actually talk.
Oh my God.
That's
and
probably
I couldn't
why
It wasn't actually rock talk.
It was talk.
You were just talking about talk online.
Yeah. But we're talking about when they changed minds back and forth. There was a time when the Doctor got control of Seven's body.
Yes.
So that's kind of a mind swap, although Seven wasn't the hologram version, so she didn't become the Doctor.
No, but Seven as the Doctor, when she ate the cake, she was like, or was it cheesecake?
Yeah.
It was something like that. She was like,
liked the
oh
cheesecake.
my God, this is so good.
Yeah. And basically it became an episode of Red Dwarf, because that kind of happened too. Like borrow the hologram body, and the hologram powers your body, and next thing you know, your body's like really messed up afterward. Because all they did was eat and fucking eat.
Eat and fucking eat and fucking eat. And
So they were tribbles.
Yeah, essentially you become a tribble.
Okay, well, at least...
So correction. Thank you, Rocky.
You're welcome.
And if anybody does have any corrections for us, I never mentioned this on any of the previous shows, but I figure, what the fuck, start a new tradition. If you have a correction and you want to keep my first officer busy, just send your corrections in to our email address, thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. That is the collective, no space between the and collective, at starfleetunderground.com, and address it to number 1. Because we all get the same email. So if you hit on them, we're going to know.
And if you DM us on Twitter, I'll just forward it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so catch all of our social things. But now we're going to move on to all the information that's happening in the quadrant here. And we're going to start off with my science officer, which I hope she had enough time to research what I asked.
Captain, I did. So we do have a reason why the Tribbles hate the Klingons, and we get that reasoning from the Tribbles themselves. So if you go to a Star Trek comic / graphic novel, and it is called Star Trek Alien Spotlight Tribbles, if you want to link to Amazon so you could see the first few pages on the Amazon, see inside or look inside thing, check out the link in the show notes. And it is a whole comic on why the Tribbles hate the Klingons.
Oh, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah, and they got the communicators working just in time, so we have all of the insight from the Tribbles. We have why they hate the Klingons in their own words.
This explains why the Klingons, the Tribbles actually joined the Federation later on.
Yeah.
Because I have spotted them in the future. So, the future. So they're definitely there. So that's actually pretty cool information. No, there's no unions on board the Starship. I don't care what you say.
Oh,
All
God,
of you
if they
could
start
say
a
you joined a
union.
union. And what are you going to do for this union? Eat and fuck. You already do that. God, dog it. Okay.
What else would you do?
Number 1, what news do you have?
Well, on a happy note, our friend Bonnie Gordon, who voices the ship's computer, also voiced the Brenari officer on this episode. So yay, Bonnie. Woo-hoo.
Nice. Congratulations,
Congrats.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
So
And then
awesome.
on a little bit of sad news, Walter Koenig's wife, Judy Levitt Koenig, you might know her from being on The Voyage Home, The Undiscovered Country, and Generations, passed away.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
Shit.
she's survived by Walter and their daughter, Danielle.
Poor Walter.
You might know is married to the comedian Jimmy Pardo, and their son Andrew passed away in 2010, if you remember. I think.
Ouch.
Yeah, but a little bit of sad news there for Walter. So we're we're gonna have a little moment here of quiet and reflection for Walter. So here we go. Okay, so they were married 56 years, people.
That's really sad. And now, unfortunately, every time around Christmas, the unintentional implication is that Christmas is going to be a sad season for him.
Christmas is a sad season for a lot of people.
You know what? Christmas kind of sucks sometimes, honestly.
I agree.
Yeah.
So
I agree 100%.
It's hard to get into the proper flavor of what you think Christmas should feel like, because I certainly don't feel like going to Target and having great deals being given to me right now.
They're not great. They're
I didn't
so
even like
expensive.
their parking lot, so I just skipped the whole thing. But yeah, the holidays can suck a little bit, and just get a little moment together and just remember what it really is all about, and
food and
fucking. Yeah,
food and fucking.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
We got to take that
bit of
lesson from the
trivia.
Tribbles.
Sometimes the Tribbles are smarter than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised by that. A little bit of trivia. During Vietnam War, when somebody died, most of the corpsmen in hospitals, when they wrote up the death certificate, wrote it the day before or the day after Christmas because they didn't want anyone to remember that their loved one died on Christmas Day.
Mm.
So not everyone did it, but a large enough amount of people. So, which is... Again,
And then you got the people that are born on Christmas.
Oh, that sucks.
oh, they get gypped. They get
They
gypped.
so get gypped.
but some of them are pretty fun people that I've met. So I'm like, they can't be all that bad.
I feel so bad for them. I feel like I just hit the cutoff with my birthday because my birthday is November 16th. So it's far enough away from Christmas that it feels like an actual birthday, but it's close enough that it's like, hey.
That's why you walk around clapping double dip, because you get... So that explains it. Hey, Chief.
Yo.
What do you have for news-wise? Unless, number one, you have anything else to add after that?
Nope.
Okay, Chief.
I was looking at the fun of speculation because everybody's speculating about Picard Season 3. And it just so happens that the showrunner for Picard Season 3 is on Twitter and responding to some questions and comments. And everyone's like, oh my God, this and oh my God, that. There's a story on trekmovie.com where they kind of, explained the showrunner revealed about the USS Enterprise E, whether or not it is in Season 3. And spoiler alert, it's not the Enterprise E, but there is an Enterprise, and there are
Are we getting the D? Are we getting the D?
We're not getting, we've had the D. We like the D a lot. The D is something we miss because we remember how much so much fun
You
and
miss it,
fulfillment.
Tush. It's been years.
There is actually some Sovereign class ships in it. So,
Well, if anyone is missing Enterprise E, all they have to do is watch this episode because Enterprise E was in this episode.
there were a lot of ships in this episode.
There was a
Lot of
ton
ships.
of ships. I'm gonna go through some of
There
them.
was a shitload of ships.
Yeah.
A shitload.
Yeah, there was a question on the flagship ships because it's not the years that they're around, it's the beating they get because they use the hell out of the flagship ships for some reason. And,
Dudes.
they don't always last as long. There's also a really cool picture of somebody's holodeck panel on his Twitter feed, and it makes you wonder what's going on with that. What are the messages underneath the programming available in their holodeck?
You're sounding much more like deep and manly this week, Rocky.
I'm getting over a cold, and it's been a week. I mean, the first signs of it showed up when I did the voiceover for the last episode of our show because I do the opening tease after I edit it, so it's kind of you could kind of hear it sneak in. But no, I've been horrible the entire week, and I could really use a hot chocolate right now.
Ooh,
I thought it was because
Don't let Heather
Tribbles-
get it for you.
No. Okay, so here's what we could do. We could do lemon zinger and put honey and lemon and the lemon zinger tea
like
in there.
lemon.
Oh, it
Yeah,
tastes
let me
so
make it, Rocky.
good.
Don't. If Heather makes it, you might die.
No, all I would do is
I
add
might
time
die
crystals. I just add a little time crystal.
Then I'll fast forward back to the beginning of the cold again.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, I can see how that would go wrong.
Yeah, you could totally screw that up.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll let Patrick do it.
I did learn a lesson is the cough drops that you may take once in a while when you're diagnosed as an adult onset diabetic. Those have a lot of sugar in them apparently, and you take and do a bunch of them overnight, and you take your reading in the morning, and like, oh my God. But
Yeah, they do.
other than that, that's all the insight I've got of the whole experience. It's just a common cold. It's nothing fancy. It's just like every other common cold I've ever had. So we're just about done with it. I just don't sound like I'm about done with it.
If you want to meet me in sickbay after this, I think I have something for the common cold. I can give you a hypo spray.
I might be interested.
No flirting on the show.
Spray in the med bay. Oh, yeah.
It's med bay.
Sick bay, med bay. It's sick bay.
Oh, sick bay.
Yeah, sick
Oh,
bay.
I totally screwed up.
No, I think you said sick bay, and then I said med bay.
Corrections.
Make sure you keep the door locked when you have them in there because I just heard the Tribbles talking about they're going to mount a rescue mission for the two Tribbles trapped by the huge snake.
Oh, God.
I swear I did
Gotta
not bring
be
the snake
careful.
on board. I swear that is not my snake that escaped.
I don't think they're talking about that snake.
No, they're
It's
talking
not
about
like
something
I've-
else.
Oh,
No.
You might want to check that out in sick bay later.
okay.
Don't bring the triples.
So if it sneezes, I'm sending you to Starfleet headquarters medicals. That's the last thing. Okay, well, my news that we're going to go into is everyone knows John Noble. John Noble is just, he's got a unique voice and he plays evil really well. He's been on so many shows. He's been on like Supernatural. He's been in Sleepy Hollow. He's been in, what's the other one there, number one?
Lord of the Rings?
That's right. He's been in Lord of the Rings, and he also was in another Fringe. He was in Fringe and everything else.
I saw him on an episode of The Boys.
Yeah, he's really.
Yes, he was. He was the father.
He didn't sound like him, but it looked like him.
No,
he had a different accent going. It was cool.
He's a pretty, and I had the fortune of meeting him, and you expect for him to be really evil in person, but like a lot of actors, he just plays evil well. He's not. Any rate, that being said, is that they decided to ask him about his role as being a diviner. And he gave some pretty good information. Well, first off, is that they asked him, how did he like working on a script? And his response was, I don't do scripts with a character like the diviner. He's just too central and memorable. They routined what the journey would be, but it wasn't a script. And then they asked him, it's like, well, how did your take on the character start? And what did you do with it? And he explained that he had a different take because he felt that people get older, more experienced, they firm up their attitudes. And sometimes it appeared that they're quite intractable. And he feels that that was the diviner. His intention was pure as a driven snow. And that's what he did it. He is tough because he wants to retain what he lost. And he's desperate because he wants to do it. And he really tries to identify his daughter because she feels that she's the one to do it. So I'm not going to go into more of the stuff on it, but it's extremely, extremely insightful if you want to be able to look at it. The series is going to be on Sky Showtime on the rest of Europe in the second half of season 1. Is going to be coming out there in 2023. So our European listeners, it's right around the corner if you want to listen to it. And if you want to hear about the news, oh my God, they did this on purpose because Patrick's going to correct me. Look for an article written by Thaddeus Tuffentsamer. I think I said that right.
Tuffentsamer? I don't know. I mean, is semen tough? I don't know.
Just send me the link and
Thaddeus,
I'll copy and paste it.
I know it's right. Thaddeus, I know is correct, but Tuffentsamer is Tuffentsamer. So I think it's Tuffentsamer. Well, he's an international best-selling author. That's why I thought you would know, Patrick.
Tuffentsamer.
He's books sold in the U.S., UK, Sweden, Germany, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Italy, and France. He has a series of young reader novels, a satirical self-help book, and he's joined a list of professional people who also wrote for Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, I'm going to say something stupid. So you know how people have like the last name Baker because they were a baker, or shoemaker because they were a shoemaker, and that. So Tuffentsamer, does that mean he has tough semen, or his family?
We'll
has
get number one to research that.
Number one.
I was talking with the Tribbles. I got nothing.
All they have to say is fucking food.
They said, I'm hungry. Let's go fuck. I'm like, what?
He loves that. So remind me if I forget to, well, you know what? I could send this right now. Where's the, wait, no. Okay, here we go.
This is what happens when he starts talking to his computer out loud.
Yeah, the computer, computer send it.
Transfer complete.
What do you mean you're sending?
Input algorithm
No.
not accepted.
I don't want that to be sent.
Transfer complete.
It's
Why are
already
you
been
reminding
sent.
me to send something from last
Wow.
year?
Captain, why'd you send us that picture? That's an amazing picture, but wow.
Ooh la la.
God dog it.
Thanks for sending
He
this.
sent that the entirety of Starfleet. That's amazing.
I was sending it to the other
How
system that was
brave you
supposed to
are.
be air. It was supposed to be sent to the other system, which is air gapped, so I could do the without you guys seeing me Photoshop.
It's such a small picture.
Oh, Watch out! They might request that you join their calendar photo ops of all the Starfleet captains. That
it would just be a small entry.
The captain's log calendar.
Very small captain's log.
Calendar.
Sincerely, for this holiday season, I really want to tell all of you, fuck y'all.
And to all a good night.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us how you really feel.
The Tribbles are like, what? Oh, how sweet.
Fucking.
Let's get it started here. So let's number one.
Started in here. Let's get it started. Oh,
I think that you did the recap this time.
So, we watched Star Trek Prodigy Season 1, Episode 19, Supernova Part 1, originally aired 12/22/22. Janeway tries to convince the Brenari officer that she needs to warn Starfleet of the weapon aboard the Protostar. Our crew thinks Janeway is going to set Starfleet straight about the weapon when Dahl says he may have tarnished her reputation and now they think she's a whack job. On the bridge of the Dauntless, Commander Tysus speaks to Admiral Jellico, who wants to know why Janeway was declared medically unfit. Janeway orders Tysus to take down the Protostar's shields and board her. Our crew find themselves faced with an armada and are unable to open a hail for fear of the living construct infecting Starfleet. Zero hotwires the ship, regaining control, and they're able to evade enemy fire. Dahl jokes that they will all laugh about this when they're in Starfleet Academy. Our crew weaves in and out of the armada. Rock stops Gwyn from telling him that augments are forbidden in Starfleet. That maneuver was called the Slippery Dipsy Doodle, according to Jankom, and Dahl doesn't think it's such a great name. Janeway tells the Brenari officer, if you knew me, you know you could trust me. She tells Janeway that she was one of the refugees that Janeway had saved from the Devore all those years ago on Voyager, and she releases Janeway from the brig. The Protostar is about to lose shields, and Gwyn goes to give them a chance and tells Dahl that he won't be able to get into Starfleet after he awkwardly kisses her. Dahl is stunned by the news, but the ship is defenseless, and he rises to the occasion.
What a way to reject someone is they kiss you and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not allowed in Starfleet. I'm gonna hurt you now because you try to kiss me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think, I thought the timing was a little wonderfully off, but I didn't think she had a chance to really give him a reaction to that because there's bigger things to worry about. So we don't really know what Gwyn thought about it all, except for the surprise.
And there could have been bigger things too. We don't know what, Dahl species, so.
Well, he is augmented.
I was worried he might have gone tongue first, and thankfully he didn't go tongue out first.
But you notice that she didn't yell at him. She didn't get mad. She didn't push him away. She didn't lean away from the kiss.
She's like, what the hell was that?
So she kind of figured, this was nice. Now I feel really guilty because that was sweet. And I got to tell you, because we may not survive this. So
yeah, it's the awkward moment when you're trying to tell somebody some horrible, horrible news that they're not going to like, and things aren't going really well, and then they kiss you out of nowhere. I'm like, what the? Oh,
she could have held a pistol to his head and knocked to Gamut, but she didn't do that. So, but the thing is, I thought, and what impressed me about this scene, a couple of things about Dahl. First off, I couldn't stand the kid in the beginning because he was just a pimply, pain in the ass teenager that was self-centered, narcissistic. It's just really, really pain in the ass, basically. Did I say he's a pain in the ass? Yeah, pain in the ass teenager.
Not the good kind.
But
no.
What I really liked about this part is that it showed how much he's matured through the first season already.
No, it's great because Dahl has just grown up a whole lot in this show.
Oh, tremendously!
It's amazing. He takes responsibility.
Yes,
and he wants to do the right thing, even after he learns. Well, I guess it's the next section. He has the reaction to the whole not allowed in Starfleet thing. Or no, he does at the end of this episode. He takes the phaser rifle. He says, "If I can't join, I'm going to make sure you can." That is amazing.
Yeah, because
that was incredible.
Because he would have normally, in the beginning of the season, he would have pouted and says, "Forget this, let's go." And also, he would have never had the nerve to kiss Gwyn. So it shows that he had the intestinal fortitude and courage to actually kiss her, and also to think about the crew.
He's growing up.
Yeah, a lot.
Not only the kiss scene, but also, instead of having a temper tantrum because he couldn't get what he wanted, he thought about other people, the people that he loved, and he's like, okay, I'm going to work towards getting you accepted then. And that is just incredibly mature and self-sacrificing. And it's the kind of behavior we want to see in other people, you know?
But don't often.
Don't often.
Also, you know, the moment, if you ever have one of those moments, here's the question. Do you go for the kiss, or do you think about it for a moment and realize that's not what they're talking about?
Or do you ask Gwen if she wants to kiss instead of just kissing?
Yes.
Consent.
And is that an awkward moment that, do you mind if I kiss you real quick right here?
That is sexy as fuck. Okay, I don't care what anybody else says. When you're asking for consent, that's sexy as fuck.
Taking notes. Okay. Meanwhile,
If you got to take notes, Rocky, you're in trouble.
well, no, I was thinking about it. I didn't stop to do it, you know. So.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, what do you think?
Well, I always ask for consent. Always, especially if you're.
Well, I do now, but back in the day when, like, you know, no, we didn't ask for nothing back in the day. We just did it.
Oh my God, that's why Patrick scares me so much.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be safe, so don't worry.
I liked another scene on this show. The moment with Janeway in the brig with that ensign reminded me
Brenari
of
officer.
Yeah, the Brenari officer. Was she an officer, ensign? What do you call her?
She was an ensign, I think.
Yeah, but it reminded me.
She's an ensign, but she's still an officer.
Yeah, okay. It reminded me of the short trek where we saw Ensign Mount trying to get out of the brig, you know, being stashed away, and he's trying to convince this person to let him out. Was that a short trek? It was a short trek, right?
Yep.
Oh, excuse me.
It's
Ooh,
okay.
that came out of
What
nowhere.
the hell? Did your chick just sound like a party favor?
I heard it slap in stereo, and we're coming in over mono.
It's like, what the
I
hell?
thought it sounded like an Endorian sneeze.
It was like, that was strange.
But also speaking about that same child, yeah, it did remind us of the short trek. However, we did actually see the episode where Janeway saved this child. And if you guys want to watch that episode, it's Star Trek Voyager, Season 5, Episode 10, Counterpoint. In that episode, she saves the child, and that's the person that we see.
I like
Release her.
this. The Hageman brothers bring all these wonderful things into the show, and that's just another one. I don't know if they did it directly or if one of the writers said, "Hey, let's do this." But it's wonderful. They just bring these little callbacks.
I love it. I love the Easter eggs. I look forward to, seeing the Easter eggs every week.
They do such a good job. I really enjoy the travel. And I keep reminding myself, this is still only the first season.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's been
It's a
so
hell of
much
a first season.
growth.
Yeah, I'm
There's so much
really
growth
enjoying
with
Prodigy.
all the characters, including, the gummy bear. Murf. Yeah.
Murf.
Murf.
I love
All of them
Murf.
has really, really have grown. And we're going to get into what my favorite part
Yeah,
was coming up
Murf has
in a
grown
little while.
exponentially.
Yeah, Murph is
Yeah.
Like
grown
arms
a
and
lot.
legs.
Like literally grown.
So, but I enjoyed, again, how much Dahl has grown and how much, because, all of them really has kind of grown.
Yeah,
Except
even
for,
Zero. He
Jankom,
matured
I
to
don't
me.
think Jankom has grown as much as the
no,
rest
I
of
was
them
getting
have.
ready to say that number
No,
one.
we've
Perfect.
learned more about Jankom though. So
we've learned more,
know
but he hasn't
has
really
depth.
grown.
We know he has the depth.
And isn't Jankom technically like a 17, 18-year-old? He's like a higher range teenager.
Yeah, I
Higher
guess so.
range
I don't know if you
teenager?
call it higher range.
What do you
I like
call
the low end.
Older.
An older teenager?
More troublesome? No. More spirited.
Just a
I guess
teenager.
Very spirited.
I guess that'll work.
And
You're
I like...
talking to yourself again there, Captain.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that spirited. I said that'll work.
And speaking of spirited, the reaction that Admiral Jellico had, he's like, wait. You're telling me that she's got medical leave? What's going on here? And you brought this whole fucking thing to our front door. What's going on?
Well, Jellico's like, I just fucking talked to her and there was nothing wrong with her. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell happened?
And she was saying this was happening and that was happening. Now you're telling me this and you brought it right over here? What the fuck, basically, is what he said without saying it.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Computer, pause transmission. I still don't like Admiral Jellico. He's a pain in the ass. I really can't stand him.
The light's
He is
still on,
a
Captain.
Wait, what?
The lights. We're
When
still
I said
recording.
pause transmission, I meant for the transmission to get paused. And of
Sir,
course,
the
my
warp
chief
drive
engineer.
just paused in our the engineering sections. I don't know why the transmission to the ship just paused.
I hope he's not listening.
Now I'm going to have office hours. God dog
What were you
it.
saying about the Admiral, sir?
I said that he leads from a very unique position.
Can you imagine his own show if we had Star Trek Jellico? What the conversations he would have day to day with all this crazy shit going on in the world, in the galaxy?
Yeah.
I can't even.
I can't.
All the bullshit he has to deal with day to day.
Mm-hmm.
What are these kids doing now? My God.
Wait, what? I gave you guys credit. What do you mean you're doing me a solid for Christmas? You just blanked all what I said about Admiral Jellico so he doesn't get the transmission.
Ooh.
And anyone in his orbit. Well, I guess, thank you. What do I have to pay for that? What do you mean nothing now? I don't like
No.
that now.
You deal
part.
with Section 31, sir. There are no free favors.
Oh, man. I would have preferred if he just said nothing. But he said nothing, and then he looked at me and went, now. All righty then. Let's continue on unless we're going to jump to the next section here.
When in doubt, if you can't get the software to work, hotwire it with some different hotwire.
Oh my
hardware.
God. He
funny.
hot-wired the car, the ship.
When in doubt, pull it out.
That was funny.
And rewire it.
Exactly.
Zero hot-wired the car.
I love that he just finally did that. It's like, you know what? Fuck this thing. I'm going to unplug it and rewire it because it's not working.
It's like when it doesn't work, we hot-wire it.
He's like, we're going to bypass the command codes. So,
Yeah. Well, if your Starship isn't working correctly, have you tried unplugging it and rewiring it?
Just turn it off, count to 10, turn it back on.
yeah, but unfortunately, that wouldn't work on our ship.
In that case, then you unplug it, rewire it, plug it back in without turning it off. Do it while it's hot.
It works on our ship. It works
No,
on
it
our
wouldn't.
ship, but you have to count 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Because if you do fast, it doesn't work.
And watch out with the sparks. There are sparks involved if you rewire it while it's hot.
And you got to count like Worf. You got to be 1 Mippa-Pippi, 2 Mippa-Pippi, 3 Mippa-Pippi, or else it wouldn't work. What? Oh, I didn't know you were a fan. What do you mean that was Drago? I'm crossing streams. Okay. All
That
right.
means two people are peeing together.
Oh my God. Apparently,
That's a
Miss
relationship.
Mippa-Pippi wasn't said in Star Trek. He's giving me a real-time correction. It was said by Drago in Farscape.
Okay.
All right. Okay,
So-
you can go now.
The other note I have, of course, is okay. Now we don't have the proto drive going, so let's shift the power to the shields. And like Jankom's like, yeah, I can do that. Jacob can do that. Jacob can fix it.
Now, I do like the fact
Jacob
that
can fix
they
it.
didn't use the MacGuffin to get out of it, because that was the thought that we had last show, that they would just engage the proto drive and get out of there, in which my chief engineer wisely told me that it was offline. So I did look at that as a good way. Them finding a way to get around it. Yeah, put power to shields and use
And then they have an amazing action sequence going on with the
yeah.
starships.
Is that still this section?
Yeah. They're running all over the place and they're playing dodge phaser. That's like dodgeball, except it's phasers.
Dodge phaser.
And they're doing a pretty good job.
Hey, Chief, I'm just really curious. Do all engineers know how to hotwire a ship? Is that sort of recommended?
Yeah, that's how you work a ship.
Oh,
You
okay.
just hotwire the sucker. It's just doing it pretty, so nobody notices. You just threw it together.
But you cannot break the laws of physics, Captain.
No, you can only do it so much quicker than your estimate's supposed to.
Scotty is rolling over in his grave.
In delight.
Because he was impressed.
Yes, there you go.
He was impressed.
That was a really good impression.
So,
Next section.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Act 1, since it was a really long intro. Essentia enters the transporter room and disables the crew with the help of Drednok and the Diviner. They beam to the Protostar as our crew goes to meet them. Phaser fight! Drednok basically kicks their ass. Essentia and the Diviner enter the bridge where Gwyn is lurking. Drednok hits Jankom and Rock with a gravity mine and Zero with an electrified net. Gwyn tells Essentia to get off her ship and a fight ensues. Drednok is about to choke Doll out when Murf attacks but gets frozen. Let it go, let it go. Essentia has Gwyn hostage and commands the Diviner to open hails. He tries to use Gwyn's weapon against Essentia, but she catches it and did she stab him or blow him away? I can't remember. Anyway, she hurts him.
That's a technical term.
She opens a hail and the Dauntless answers. The living construct hits the Armada and they start to turn on each other. The crew is despondent, but Rock freezes Murf with Jankom's multi-mit torch. Zero frees Dahl, who knocks out the gravity mine.
Didn't she vaporize him?
Did she shoot him or did she use the weapon and like
it was a
get him in
stabbing.
the gut?
It was a gut stab.
Stabbing. Okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very good for his health.
He did vaporize for gut stabbing.
When he died, he vaporized.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was an interesting side note that I discovered looking for Star Trek news this morning. Apparently, they forgot to do something about him dying. You know, it was like at the end of the episode, they're like, "You just left him there in a body on the ship. You guys got to do something about that." And like, oh, well, he'll just kind of vaporize in a pretty sparkle, right? That's kind of how they decided to fix
The one
that.
thing, I think that's going to be a plot point for later, because when he vaporized and the little sparkle dust came out, Gwen also sparkled because some of the sparkles landed on her.
And her head lit up and she went neon and everything.
So I'm kind of curious about that.
It was very, like a beautiful emotional moment, actually, I thought.
I'm surprised that her father died.
And the Diviner also was rebelling against what he kind of came here to do in the first place. He did not hail all the ships. And that's why Essentia just, got him.
And also because of the fact that Janeway showed him some kindness.
Yeah.
And that went a long way, because he had built up in his mind that there's this big evil entity, and he found out that's not the case.
No, and we realize that the Diviner is not all a bad guy. He's just got bad problems most of the time.
No, the character is more a tit for tat type of a character. If you do bad to me, I'll do bad to you. If you do good to me, I'll do good to you. That type of a thing.
Yeah.
And I think we see it in this.
So if you just see somebody that's big and bad and like, oh, I don't like that guy, maybe if you kind of rub them the right way, do some good. Do some good for them. Maybe they'll turn around for you. Show a little love, maybe you get some back,
Well, whether or not this will work anymore on Earth, I don't know. But I knew this girl who stood about 4'11". She was very short. She was also very attractive. And when she rode the trains late at night, if she was scared with some thug-looking people got on the train, she would walk up to them and she would look at them with her little voice and go, "I'm really scared riding the train by myself. Could you please watch out for me until I get to my stop?" And they would all swell up. "Yeah, sure, we wouldn't bother you." The same people probably would have mugged her ass if she didn't go up to them. But the fact that she went up to them and actually talked to them like human, they always looked out for her.
Interesting.
Now, somebody like me, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just
If you
the
walked
same,
up to us and says, "I'm a real scared dude,"
Yeah,
and, can you just watch out? We're like, what the fuck you talking about, dude?
not going to happen. Give me your wallet. That's the
Fuck you.
price. But my favorite part of this section, I said all that, but one of my favorite parts of this whole section was Murf.
Love Murf.
Fighting. Murf
Ninja-Murf.
was but the thing was, until he got overconfident and slapped his ass and wiggled at it.
Yeah, that was he got a little bit too much, but he was kicking ass too.
He thought he was Dahl.
He was actually holding his own against that thing.
Yeah.
Well,
It was cool
technically, Murf is-
because I'm like watching Drednok, and Drednok's got Robo Kung Fu going on. Drednok's like, I've got multiple targets acquired, and he's going to kick ass and take names, and he starts doing it. And next thing you know, along comes Murf, and Murf is the one thing that Drednok can't quite figure out, except when Murf starts to get a little bit cocky.
Yeah, but that was funny. When he gave him the raspberry and patted his ass and wiggled at him, that actually made me laugh. I thought that was quite funny.
I love Murf. So they're all teenagers, including Murf, right?
I guess so, because that's something a teenager would do.
Yeah, and he evolved, so I guess that's the evolving from baby to teenager.
Yeah, he was really good. He was a good pick to be the security officer, except he was overconfident.
Well, it's young. What do you call it?
Young Murf?
Young but dumb. Young. What do you call it?
Young, dumb, and full of cum, we used to say.
That's essentially what Murf is, right?
Yeah.
No,
The
I
extra
thought that
on the
was the
last thing.
Tribbles.
Yeah, but the Tribbles don't know Kung Fu, so...
No, but they know dodgeball.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, this is true.
Yes.
And number one, you there?
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. Okay, the Drednok is a AI-driven thing, correct?
Sure.
So that means he has some sort of base programming, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he was on board our ship, could you rig something to be able to take his programming over to make him stop
Ooh.
Possibly.
and not just compute pi to the last digit?
Yeah, we'd have to hit him with an EMP first and knock him out.
And then you'd have to figure out how to hack his password to get access to his system.
But it would have to be a localized EMP so that we don't like fuck up the ship.
Right.
Can we make him a maid and put a maid skirt on him with a little maid apron and the little duster and the little maid hat and...
Oh, sure, because shaming a robot is what we're into now.
No, but I mean, his cooking skills have to be so much better than Heather's.
Well, there's that.
Why is it shaming to wear that?
Oh, great. Why'd you have to say that over the open comms? Now the dots are all excited. No, we're not going to give you a slut maid. You don't even... They were quiet for a while because the Tribbles were talking. Now the dots are getting involved.
Getting their boners on.
But I was just curious if we ever got an intruder like that. We should make that into a plan just in case we ever get something like that on board.
Put on this maid costume.
Oh, I think 007 heard us because here he comes and he's looking good.
Yikes.
How the hell do you get garters on a robot body? It's just one big garter with two tassels on either side.
Oh, he got titty tassels on?
He has titty tassels on.
Oh my God. Today has been a day. I'll tell you that.
I'm telling you, especially if a dot's got titty tassels, man, that's like...
No titties.
Yeah.
So that's...
I can only bring it back to talking about the wonderful editing of the show, the way it's all cut together. All these action
It's
sequences are
beautifully
so
done.
intercut well together. You've got a
And how
Volnukot
we
ship
didn't see
fight
any
going
titty
on.
tassels in the episode.
And exactly. and if you did, it was hanging from a starship. That it was way up in the background because there were lots of starships shooting phasers at each other too. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going down on this show. And then you bring in Drednok with his Robo Kung Fu. It's lots of shit going on. And I love how it's all brought together. And it's still in this one little act.
Yeah. It was very, very action-packed. I will say that.
Lots of good stuff in this one.
Speaking of acts, Patrick, wasn't this Act 2 because there wasn't a teaser? You had the opening and then you had Act 1, Act 2, Act 3?
No, the teaser was the really long first one.
No, they did not have a teaser this episode.
There was no
right into the
teaser.
act. Yeah.
So it was just, the act. It was just, okay, so technically then that would have been Act 1. Yes, I just had it as the...
Okay, so then this is Act 2. And okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to correct the corrector. I was tingling.
Well, you need to see a doctor about that. They have
He
creams
gave
for
you a
that.
Christmas present because he knows how much you like that.
I think I was feeling Lana vibes. I had to correct the corrector.
Mhm.
That's funny.
Lana vibes.
Lana vibes.
Hi, Lana.
Hi.
Hi, Lana.
You only get Lana vibes when you got a vibrator in your pocket.
And how would you know that?
She told me.
Okay, how about Act 3?
Okay, Act 3. They make it to the bridge just in time to see the Vindicator and Drednok escape in a pod, causing a rupture in the hull. The Diviner dies in Gwen arms and evaporates. The Universal Translator suddenly goes offline. Thankfully, Gwen knows languages and is able to communicate to the crew. On the Dauntless, Janeway orders the crew to abandon ship. The Protostar and Dauntless open a hail. Dahl thinks that Starfleet's allies may be able to assist and keep the Armada from destroying itself by lending their shields. Gwen requests aid from the Klingons, and they ask them to relay the message to assist to the rest of the fleets. She makes an impassioned plea, and the Allies show up, but sadly, when a Starfleet vessel sends out a distress call, more Starfleet vessels come to answer the call. And then more Starfleet vessels come to answer the call when those send out a distress call. And so on, and so on, and so on. Duh.
And that's the way the episode ends.
It reminds me of the old Fabergé, the old commercial they had for
You
like
tell two
women's
friends,
hair.
and they'll tell two friends, and
Yeah,
so on, and so
Exactly.
on, and so on.
You tell two friends, and those two friends would tell two friends. Yep, you're right. And all of those starships just came out of nowhere. One of the things I forgot to bring up on the last section is that the one way to stop Rock Talk was to use a gravity grenade. I thought that was I thought that was pretty ingenious of the AI to figure that's the only way because he couldn't really manhandle Rock Talk because Rock Talk is an effective fighter.
I felt bad for Jankom because he was the bottom.
Yeah, well, Jankom
He got the big part of it.
Used to it. But she had still enough strength to use his hand to do the torch in order to free Murf.
Yeah. At the moment that they're all incredibly defeated, there's like, oh God, there's no more hope in the galaxy. We're all doomed. she's like, hang on a second. Let me borrow your hand real quick.
I love that because they didn't give up. They failed, and it was okay.
No.
It was okay to fail and make a mistake. And
she doesn't let defeat them.
No.
and you get back up and you try again. And I fucking love that.
You had the wonderful sword fight that happened between Gwen and the other person, and she decided to give her the final touch, which is the evil scar across the face. Because, you can't be evil in a show unless you have some sort of scar. So it gave her the scar. And surprisingly, again, we see with the dad that the dad dies. And she, like any true hero or evil person, actually, decides to blow a hole in the ship and just get the hell out of there.
I was surprised about that. I'm like, I didn't know I could use Drednok as an escape pod. That's an amazing feature.
I wonder what else she uses him for.
Right?
Oh.
He's very useful.
Seriously.
He has multiple techniques.
And he was in her cabin.
Vibrator.
Oh,
I mean, he can transform into a coffee table. What else can he transform into?
Thank you. And he has multiple attachments.
Oh my!
So there's that.
He's the evil Data.
Yeah, a lot of
that-
evil Data. The last hope we get to hear about from the Diviner. His last hope is that you'll unite our people still. Remember, there's no barrier we cannot overcome. It tugs in the heartstrings of the Diviner's not such a bad guy after all.
Dude, I was bawling. I'm sitting here bawling.
It was a moment where, again, you show that some evil people can be redeemable. You just have to understand their point of view. Where you have some people, they're just unredeemable. There's no redeeming in them. They're just evil through and through. Unfortunately, life does have people like that. But there's something that somebody told me one time, a long time ago, that even Hitler loved dogs and children. And that kind of made me really think about it. And this is, everybody, don't care how evil they are, they do have some sort of side of them that is commendable.
Well, life isn't black and white.
No,
we
it
all
is
have
not.
our grays.
That's perfectly said. This is true. And once again, what the hell is going on with Prodigy, which every episode now is in the cliffhanger?
I don't know.
It's the small defect of the idea of we can do a 30-minute episode or a really short episode.
I think that's
You've got to fit in the classic cartoons, because kids have short attention spans because they're making a kid show here, although we're not making a kid show. But that's just kind of the way they defined it. It's going to be a 30-minute episode or thereabouts.
They're like, we need way longer than 30 minutes to tell this story.
It's going to take 3 episodes to tell half a story here, but you're going to love it. And we do.
What's really funny is that people complain, Discovery is episodic. I don't like the episodic shows. There's no sense to be having a show that continues thread. I just want them to be bottle episodes like in the next, they were in the original series. And what happens?
Well,
I love Prodigy. Prodigy is episodic.
Well, if they want to watch episodic, watch Strange New Worlds, SNW.
But it also has the long threads going. I think I like what Strange New Worlds did. They said, okay. We understand that you're getting a little sick and tired of the constant storyline thing. We understand where you're coming from with that. So we're going to not do as much of that. But we're still going to do a little bit of it. Just a little bit.
They do it perfectly.
There's a mix, and you can go one way or too harsh or the other. And I think they've done the decision where it's like, no, let's try it this way. Just change it up a little bit, because it's nice to change the flavor once in a while.
It's a gift that gives to everybody. Like, for instance, if you saw the Serenity, which is the Firefly movie, you still enjoyed the movie. I've known people who saw the movie and did not see the series and enjoyed it. However, if you did see the series, you had all the connective tissue, so it made the enjoyment of Serenity more. And I think that's the same thing with Strange New Worlds. You can drop in on any Strange New World episode and kind of get what's going on. But if you watch it from the beginning, you get more of the character development and all the connective tissue and everything else, which makes it a lot more impactful. So, yeah, it's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Make sure you wipe the connective tissue off.
That's just
Only if it's
blasphemy that
sticky.
someone would watch Serenity and not Firefly. You have to watch Firefly.
Well, once you watch one, it's like, wait, I've missed out on something. I've got to go watch the other ones.
You missed out on a lot.
No, that's what happened with me is like, well, okay, I'll find out. I'll watch the Serenity thing. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to watch this show.
You watched Serenity first?
Well, not on purpose. It was just like, okay, you'll watch the movie. You'll like the movie. Trust Trust me.
That's a perfect example.
Then I saw River go fucking batshit crazy when she saw the little code and started kicking everybody's ass like in an instant. I'm like, oh my God, this girl's a badass. I love it. What's the show about?
Unfortunately, she's been cursed. The actor, almost every series that she's been in.
Summer?
Yeah. Summer Galu, correct me.
Summer
Patrick.
Glau.
Summer Glau. Almost every series that she gets into gets canceled. I have no fucking idea why.
That's not her fault.
No, it isn't, but it still sucks because
she does good. I want to see her in more stuff. Is she still doing things?
She hasn't done anything recently, but yeah.
She has a fans only page.
Oh, what?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I was horrible, like, what?
I'm not.
What if she does?
Okay, maybe a little.
and this is where Rocky will go, I'll be in my bunk.
Exactly.
But it was. I got a question for you. Number one.
Let's see. The last thing she was in Woo Assassins. 2 episodes in that.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I thought you were looking up to see if she had a fans only page.
No, she was. She was in. The last thing she was in was Woo Assassins. She did 2 episodes of that, and then like an episode of Castle before that.
No. Oh yeah, and she wouldn't do an OnlyFans because she doesn't believe in dressing sexy.
Let the woman live her life. Yes, I say, because she is a woman now. So let her do her thing, get life out of the way. She can come back to the public spotlight when she's ready.
As Mao would say, she's a woman, real and true. So,
yeah.
I have a question for you. Number one, it should be relatively easy with your skill and knowledge. What's the next week's episode called?
Oh, gee,
maybe part 2 or something.
Supernova Part 2, maybe?
Ooh. Can I talk about one more thing before we end this?
We can talk about all the things.
Yay! Okay, let's talk all the things. So every single starship I'm going to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I wanted to ask you about that. Give us background.
We saw the USS Defiant. Did you guys realize that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Defiant,
that was the only one that was able to hit the Protostar pretty good.
Yeah, there was the starships were like all gone red-eyed. They all turned red, but they started shooting at each other, and you could tell some of them were stronger than the others. Yeah. And the Defiant was apparently one of the stronger ones because it was one of the ones kept going by the end of the scenes. But yeah, it was a lot of starship porn for the people that like to look at the starships.
It's a tough little ship.
Oh, totally. That was the first time we saw the Defiant since Deep Space Nine, and we also saw the arrival of the Frankie ships, as well as, and this just totally blew my mind, we saw Gorn ships. So when did the Gorn become like allied with the Federation? When did Gorn have an alliance?
They not necessarily were. Maybe they're just looking to come out and see what kind of shooting they can get into.
You remember? It's what the hell?
What is that?
What the heck?
Is a dot in your quarters?
Sorry, when I was looking up Summer Glau, the page like started playing something.
To tell the truth, the dot is in their dress as a maid.
Did it bend over?
That wouldn't do anything for me.
Okay, as a male butler.
As a male butler.
But there was a lot of ships that show up to try to help, and it was again the cliffhanger. How are they going to get out of this?
Well, I also mentioned that it's a lot of starship porn, but it was like the S&M porn because they're all beating up on each other.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it gets cleaner by the end of the next episode.
Well, if anyone gets really excited about that battle, we know what they're into.
If I was on a Protostar, I don't know where the lower deck hidden area was, but I would try to blow that thing out into space, blow a hole in the deck, and hopefully let it get sucked out because that thing is just that hemorrhoid red cushion that construct is a pain in the ass.
I wonder if the gravity bomb would have any effect on the construct.
Oh, hopefully we'll see next episode.
I want to see what happens. How are they getting out of this one? Because this is like major devastation going on.
Yeah, it is.
They got to time travel next episode, right? That's what they have to do.
Well,
they got to go time travel somewhere and go back in time and fix it.
No, that's the whole reason why they're out in space in the middle of nowhere, and they only have a few hundred ships that were destroyed. So that way, Starfleet saw some damage, but not a lot of damage, not crippling damage.
But more ships keep coming in. It's like a never-ending loop of more ships coming in.
If they do a time jump, I want to know if Dal and Gwen have children. Are they going to be called Dalettes or they're going to be called.
Wow, I wasn't going that far in the future.
Or Gwinnells.
Gwinnells. Yeah, what are they going to be called?
I'm not allowed to combine names anymore.
Well, that's true because we almost got into a war because of what you did last time.
Yeah. Oh boy,
That was not good. Oh my God. All right. This was a very good episode. This is the first show that you joined us with. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you come back next week because we're going to be reviewing Supernova Part 2.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to our latest episode and not our first
Dua Lipa?
episode.
Well, we're not going to
it's
do
okay if you want to listen to our first episode.
So-
There's nothing wrong
That's
with the first
okay.
one.
We just weren't as refined.
We've grown over the seasons, and our engineer won. You'll find out why he won the O'Brien Award.
Sometimes it's good not to be so refined.
Yeah,
I'm just
this is
saying.
true.
We had some good old ones too.
Yeah, we do.
Oh my God. By the way,
Yeah?
our next episode, so not this episode, not the one we're currently doing right now, but our next episode will be in 2023. So this is the last season 3 episode. And then our next episode will be season 4. And we'll be doing this for 4 years. Can you believe that?
4 years.
4 years we've been doing this.
Also,
Whoa.
the day you've been
Yeah.
listening to this is going to be after Christmas. So I do hope
Yeah.
that you had a very safe and enjoyable Christmas break. You'll be hearing us before the New Year's, I think.
No, after the New
After
Year.
New Year?
Yeah, because the New Year is on Sunday the 1st.
So you won't be hearing us again until next year.
Yep.
Oh,
That's what I was saying.
yeah.
This is the last episode for season 3.
This is the last episode for season
The only
3.
thing I'm happy about is because this is not a video
It's a-
production, I don't have to change the 2022 copyright thing at the end of the show to 2023 for this show.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do that with my TV work.
Hey, number 1,
Mm,
thanks for the great job doing the summary.
okay.
And installing the Tribble translators, even though the verdict is still out on that.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the mute button installed.
Oh my God. He just rolled into my quarters and just looked around and said, food, and then left.
That's what they do.
Oh,
You think they're
That's
being all
all
cute and
they
stuff,
do.
that they just roll around and go, food?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
It's like, oh, he wanted to see where I was at. No, he's looking for food. He doesn't care
yeah,
about
that's
you.
what
He's
I,
looking
at
for
first
food.
I thought about that. That's what I thought at first, but now I know because now we
I
understand
mean,
them.
you pick them up and start petting them because you think they're all cute and all. They're like, food? Food?
Yeah.
Food? No, this
And
feels
that's
good.
why they
Food?
get mad because they thought we had sausage hands.
Worm
So-
hands. I love
That's
that.
it. Worm hands. I thought it was sausage hands. It was worm hands.
Sausage hands works
Not to be
too.
confused
I
with
mean,
Worm Tongue, because that's a whole nother
Tucker-
franchise.
Tucker definitely has sausage hands for sure.
Yeah, he does, but
He's always picking on
gone.
Tucker. I think that was kind of funny.
He's such a douche. Sorry, Tucker, but you are a douche.
He's not totally.
Not totally. Not
You have to
100%.
You have to watch the rest of the episode because it's like the Diviner. If you never watch the whole thing, you don't understand that the Diviner was actually, he didn't seem to be such a nice guy. But this episode, he's like a super nice guy. It's very confusing.
I thought you were going to say if you feed Tucker, he actually purrs and is nice.
Well, if you give him the right
Hold on.
kind of Vulcan neuropressure. That's
Wait,
for all you
wait.
people watch the whole series.
I've wanted the Tribbles explaining to me why they can't stand Klingons if I give them a Trisket. So I gave him
Yeah,
a
it's a trick to get
Trisket.
food.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he told me is that the reason why they can't stand Klingons is because Klingons stink. They can't. The smell is unbearable. They cannot. The smell is horrible, and that's why they scream like that because it just overwhelms their sense of smell, and that's how they find
I thought
food.
the reason. Okay, you know those stress balls where you squeeze
Yeah.
the stress ball.
Yeah.
I thought the Klingons were using Tribbles as stress balls, and that's why.
Ouch.
No, this one is
That's
saying
why.
this one is saying that they can't stand the Klingons because Klingons stink. The Klingons can't stand the Tribbles because they don't like the fact that the Klingons stink. They don't think that
Okay.
they stink, but they can't stand it. But apparently,
I thought it was something about honor and
this
eating all
is-
their food supply.
No, apparently they can't stand the Klingons,
Because you get in front of a Klingon and his food, it's not a healthy thing.
and the Klingons can't stand the smell of Tribbles either. So it's a mutual dislike.
They just don't
That's
like
what-
each other.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He
Sometimes
said
people
because
just don't
they
get along
stink.
with other people, you know?
Yeah,
No.
it's
However, who stinks on board the ship? No one.
Patrick.
You said Patrick has a nice woodsy smell. You said Chief smells a little bit like ozone and hickory.
Oh.
And what? And Heather smells like flowers and danger. What does danger smell like?
Mostly danger.
What does danger smell like? Okay. And what do I smell like? What do you mean you're not answering that question? Come back here.
The danger smell comes from Giorgio, because I've been hanging around Giorgio.
Okay. We've gone off on a tangent, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to us, enjoying us. However, we're going to go to our next favorite part. What would you give this on a 1 to 10, Heather?
Oh, I would give this, I guess, an 8. 7.5, 8, somewhere around there. It was good. It wasn't one of my favorites. I don't have a ship fetish, so it didn't do anything for me. So I feel like I'm a little flat on this.
There's the danger. How about you, number one?
Kind of like your food, a little flat.
What would you give it, number one?
I'm going to give it a 9. I really liked it. Lots of good stuff going on.
You're full 9.
He's hard about it.
You're just going to shove that 9 right in there. That's pretty cool. How about you, Chief?
Gently but firmly. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm engineer of the show and the ship.
Time crystals.
That was some good hot chocolate.
Thank you.
Yeah. I would give this one an 8 because it's not finished yet. It's one of these two-parters that I can't really rate it right because I didn't see the whole story. I'm waiting to see the whole story. And so I'm about an 8, but I was enjoying it. I would like the Murf-Fu and the chick fight, the Voldemort fight. And aside from, I kind of like the diviner. He's getting to be a nice guy. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to him yet. But sometimes that's the way it goes, you know?
This is true. I think that I'm going to give it about an 8.5, almost a 9. I did enjoy it. The cliffhangers annoy me just a little tiny bit, but I do like the fight between Gwen. I do like the growth with Dal. There's a kid that got so much on my nerve that I was reluctant to see this show to actually be a capable Starfleet person. Even though he's not in Starfleet, I think he's wind up embodying a lot of the Starfleet principles and ideas. I really, really enjoyed that. And I am shipping both him and Gwen. So I do hope that next season they actually kind of form a couple there. And I
think he needs to hit a growth spurt.
Yeah, he does. He's probably already had his growth spurt when he kissed her.
He needs to ask for consent.
Well, that's true. That's true. So thanks, everybody, for joining us for another wonderful episode of Starfleet Underground. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. I've said the email address, but I'm going to say it again in case you didn't have anything to write down. So please, if you want to reach out to us, send email to the collective at starfleetunderground.com. You can find us on Instagram at starfleetunderground.com, on Twitter at starfleetunderg.
Just click the thing and we'll find the thing about our
That's right.
thing.
You know what?
We have links.
Rather than for us to go through all of this shit, just go to the website, starfleetunderground.com, and you can see pictures of us, and you can have all kinds of fun that way. So thank you. Please, I hope you had a great holiday. We put a Christmas picture out there. So remember, just don't have a great holiday, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.
I think, is the light still on? I can't tell
You
the
can
light
have a
anymore.
holiday too.
All the lights are on.
I know, but what's the broadcast lights? Did the Tribbles are supposed
If
to...
you're in my quarters, it's a holiday.
It's a...
Oh.
I heard the Tribbles
Happy
are going to sing...
holiday.
They're going to sing... The Tribbles are supposed to be singing Christmas carols in the galley. How the hell's that going to sound?
Food.
That's not going to sound good.
No, I don't think so.
Well, last year the Dots and the Tribbles got together and sang Jingle Bells. That was pretty amazing.
Oh, that's right.
We have that.
Yeah,
We have a recording of
If
that.
you're gonna Google back in time through our feed, that'd be a good one to go.
You should put that back out there again.
Yeah.
I might tweet
Yeah,
that.
post
put it back
it
out
on
there.
social media.
Yeah,
that
'cause
would
that
be
was
a good
actually
one to
good.
do because that was hilarious.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, put that back out there, number one. What do you mean I'm still broadcasting? No, I said
Oh,
the show was
shit.
finished. We were done. What do you mean it's not done? What do you mean look up? Oh, yeah,
The light.
The light is still on. Fuck. Where is the damn button?
Transfer complete.